Now, over 1,000 people drown in South Africa every year. According to research, most of those who drown are males or children under the age of 14. In hoping to curb this, the National Sea Rescue Institute wants more awareness around circumstances that result in drowning. Dr. Jill Fortuin, Executive Director for Drowning Prevention at the NSRI, joins me to elaborate on this rollout. Good morning to you, Doctor. Thank you very much for joining us here on the South African Morning. We anticipate World Drowning Prevention Day a little bit later on this month, on the 25th of July. Just talk us through, firstly, the importance of observing this day.
Good morning, Abigail, and good morning to your listeners. Yes, definitely the 25th of July is a day that is earmarked as World Drowning Prevention Day, and it's a call to action by the World Health Organization and United Nations. And the theme consistently over the past 3 years has been anyone could drown, no one should. And the call to action is that you need to do your one thing, improve your one thing, or add one thing to enable drowning prevention in 2023.
Let's chat a little bit about the stats. How prevalent are drowning incidents in South Africa, and which sort of categories of people are we seeing drown more often?
So on average, annually for the past 6 years, 1,477 people drown every year. And if you look at the geographical location of those drownings, most of them are happening in KwaZulu-Natal, inland, followed by the Eastern Cape, then Gauteng, and then fourth is the Western Cape. Predominantly, people think of drownings happening at the coast, and it's actually not. It's happening in inland freshwaters. The people that are mostly affected are people under the age of 14. And, and it's very preventable drownings, that is, and children shouldn't be drowning. So it's a huge concern.
It is a huge concern indeed, Doctor. You touched on the sort of theme for this year, stating that it's around anyone can drown, no one should. Let's then unpack preventative measures and measures people can put in place to avoid instances like this.
Yeah, so World Drowning Prevention Day is about putting the spotlight on drowning, because it's something that people think can never happen to me. I can swim. I have a swimming pool. I go to a school where they teach swimming, but actually it can happen to anyone. So we want to remember, firstly, that it can happen to anyone, hence wearing blue. And then secondly, we would like to put the spotlight, as you said, on drowning prevention. And there's very simple things that people can do on the days to remember. I should have a pool fence around my pool at home. I shouldn't leave buckets of water unattended, especially when there are small children running around. Pit holes and sinkholes, pit latrines should be properly protected so that children don't drown in them. So I think there's very simple things that people could do, like supervising children, making sure water bodies are protected, learning how to swim, doing water safety education at schools. These are very simple things that we could all do to prevent drownings in South Africa.
Doctor, I saw a stat that said that only 15% of South Africans can actually swim. This is indeed concerning if it is accurate. And also in the past, I've seen videos of parents at a very young age teaching their toddlers to swim. I've seen videos trend on social media where toddlers are tossed into the pool to see if they've learned anything from their lessons. Do we encourage these sort of things?
So we encourage people to swim from a very early age. Cognitively, a child can only really start learning by themselves how to swim from around 5 years old. But those that are by the means and resources to teach children from a younger age, as young as 6 months old, that is fantastic, and we encourage it. And there are various organizations that have set programs to teach young children to swim. But as you can well imagine, a child under the age of 6 years does not have the cognitive ability to know whether or not I shouldn't be just jumping in the pool. It is still the parent's responsibility to supervise that child, whether they're going to the beach, the pool, a river, or a bucket of water. So the NSRI encourages people to learn how to swim, but we're still very keen on encouraging supervision of children and all people when you're busy swimming.
So, Doctor, on the 25th of July, you and your organization are encouraging people to wear the color blue. Just expand on why.
So the NSRI is encouraging all South Africans, and the World Health Organization is encouraging all people to wear blue. And it's to remember that drownings could happen to anyone, but it shouldn't. And that's primarily the first thing that we want people to recognize, that it is a serious public health concern. Secondly, we'd like to put the spotlight, as the NSRI and also the World Health Organization globally, that drownings can be prevented by very simple measures: water safety education, learning how to swim, preventative methods such like fences around swimming pools, swimming at beaches where there's lifeguards, etc. So I think this is the call to action, that we can all do one thing or improve one thing or add one thing to prevent drownings in 2023.
Definitely. And just lastly, I also noted that there will be various landmarks lit up and decorated in blue as well. Where can people visit these?
There are sites at Zoo Lake in Johannesburg, the City Hall in East London, as well as Whalebone Pier in KwaZulu-Natal, and the NSRI's head office in Cape Town in Milnerton is also being lit up blue. So I think this is just to symbolize, as people see these key landmarks, that a reminder that drowning is a serious public health concern.
And then, Doctor, just if you could just once again refresh our memory with regards to those tips, if people are perhaps going on holiday and they are at the ocean, or there's a swimming pool nearby and they have young children, or anyone who for that matter is not really strong when it comes to swimming, what are some tips and reminders that people need to remember when being around water?
Yeah, so I think in and around the home, the very simple things are like your bath water, buckets of water. Don't leave them unattended, especially with children under the ages of 6 years old. Always be mindful that the child can slip, something can happen. And so supervise your children very carefully in and around the home, whether it's the bath water or the swimming pool. By law, soon we'll be all required to make sure that our pools are fenced in or have a pool safety cover. So I think when you are around a swimming pool, whether it's at your home, a friend's home, or the municipal swimming pool, is to make sure that you're watching your children at all times. Even if it's another adult, keep your eye on them. Be aware that they are swimming and that things can happen very carefully. When you're going around to the coast, please make sure, or a river, please make sure you're reading the signs, knowing where to swim, swimming in areas that are patrolled by lifeguards, and very, very important, lastly, please don't drink and swim. Avoid alcohol whilst supervising or whilst swimming yourself. Just alcohol and water doesn't mix.
Definitely. Dr. Jill, thank you for your time, for your insights, and for this great work that you are doing in preventing drownings. That is Dr. Jill Fortuin, the Executive Director for Drowning Prevention at the NSRI.